So when I was single, I remember having a really common thought when I would meet a new girl that seemed like around my age. She seemed like she was a Christian, she was single, and in my mind, I would think, is this the one? Am I finally meeting the one God has for me? And I know from people emailing me and just talking a lot with singles and reading the comments, this is a common experience with a lot of people, including Christian singles. So in this video, we're going to talk about some practical ways that you can learn how to stop sizing up every single new person that you meet and wondering in your mind if this is the person God has for you. The first way that you can overcome these unwanted thoughts when you instantly meet somebody, because they mess it up, right? Like once you start thinking that way, it puts all kind of pressure on you. You start feeling anxious, or you just get all worried, and you just have a very unnatural interaction with this person because you have all these thoughts going on, and it just is something that you wish you didn't do, because most Christians realize this is a manifestation of a desire that's getting out of control in me. So that brings up point one, which is you have to put the desire for marriage in its proper place. It's a good desire, but it has to be put in its proper place if you don't want your thoughts to be totally consumed by your desire for marriage. So in some other videos, I've talked a lot about this. I have a video called 3 Signs You're Idolizing a Relationship. I have another video, Is It Wrong If You Want to Be Married? Another video of how can you be content in Christian singleness? So for the sake of not repeating myself, and for those of you who watch a lot of my videos, I don't want to go into the same stuff I've already said. So I'm going to leave some links basically that explain this first point of not idolizing relationships in general, which will then help you not have these specific thoughts when you meet someone new. Point 2 is don't try to not think about this person being your future spouse. Rather, focus on what you should think when you meet a new person. So you have to replace your unwanted thoughts with the thoughts you should be having. That's just a general principle about unwanted thoughts in general, not just this specific topic, but any thoughts you have, lustful thoughts, harmful thoughts, intrusive thoughts, any thought that you have that you don't want to have. You can't just think, don't think about that, don't think about that, because that's not how the brain works. That's not how God's designed us. What we have to do is we have to focus on what we should be thinking about and what God does want us to think about. For example, when Paul was teaching people how to control their thoughts, he didn't just say, don't think about bad stuff. He said, Philippians 4 verse 8, he said, finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there's anything excellent, if there's anything worthy of praise, think about these things. Or Paul also said in Romans 12 verse 21, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. So what should you think about when you meet someone new? If you know what you don't want to think about, but now you're meeting a new Christian single person who seems dateable, quote unquote, and you don't want to go there in your mind, what should you think about? Well, you should think about what you should always think about when you meet someone new, or just meet anyone, is that how can I show this person the love of Christ? How can I serve this person? How can I be an example of Jesus to this person? How can I just obey God in my interactions? So rather than thinking, is this person the right age? Are they single? Are they dating someone? Do they look the right way? Are they a Christian? Instead of doing all that, you can say, how can I be a kind person, a loving person, a good Christian example to this new person that I'm meeting? If they're new to church, you make them feel welcomed. If you've met them on the street and they need some help, you help them. on and on it goes. You try to be a normal, good Christian, and you focus on serving God in the moment in your interactions with this person. That was really what helped me in my singleness. I remember specifically where I started overcoming these thoughts, where I stopped instantly sizing up every single girl that I met, and I started just like not doing that, is when I started having a general thought of like, all women I'm going to treat the same, whether they're 50 or 70 or they're 25 or 18, whatever. I'm going to see them as a woman, and as a godly man, I want to try to express God's love in a respectful way that is appropriate for any woman that I meet. So rather than thinking, is this person dateable, and then treating them differently, rather it helps me to see all women the same. And so I'm going to hold the door for the 70-year-old woman. When I was 19 when I was learning this lesson. So at that point, 70-year-old woman, going to hold the door. Other 19-year-old single girl that could be a very great potential spouse, gonna hold the door for her too. Gonna treat them all the same because I'm trying to be a godly man. When those thoughts were consuming my mind, that helped me to overcome these thoughts of like sizing every girl up. So that's something I would encourage you to do. Think about all people the same and try to serve them, and then once you just have natural friendships and you start realizing maybe there's a connection or there's something more, well then maybe you can start going in your mind a little bit further. The third practical tip that might help you overcome these unwanted thoughts of sizing other singles up is focus on living in the moment and actually engaging in the moment with physical activity of actually doing something. So again, you have to replace your unwanted thoughts with doing something else. And one of the best ways to not think about something is to make yourself focus on what you're doing in the moment. So for example, a lot of people love sports, a lot of people love working out, a lot of people love watching movies, all these different types of hobbies. People enjoy them because when they're doing them, they have to focus on what they're doing. So like, I can't play basketball and like think about other problems in life. Like, I have to focus on catching the ball or shooting the ball or running up and down the court. And so when you're done playing basketball, your mind can feel refreshed because, wow, I wasn't thinking about that thing that I was constantly thinking about. So that's what people, why they like hobbies, painting, rock climbing, listening to music. All of those things are relaxing because, not because you're not thinking, but because those activities are forcing you to think about what you're doing in the moment. So bringing it back to our point, how can you overcome these unwanted thoughts? Engage in the moment. Ask the person a good question. Listen to what they're saying. Try to be helpful. When you live in the moment and you're actually trying to like participate in real life, you'll be forced to use your mental energy on what's going on rather than like living in your head and having all of these thoughts. 1 Timothy 5 verse 2 is a great example where Paul is teaching Timothy, a younger man, on how to treat women, but this applies to women as they interact with men too as well. It says, treat older women as you would your mother, and treat younger women with all purity as you would your own sister. So in summary of point 3, you meet someone new, treat them like you would a family member, in meaning that you would serve them and focus on the actual moment of interaction. So the fourth and final tip is that if you want to stop assuming someone's going to be your spouse one day when you first meet this new person, what you could do is you could start assuming that every Christian single that you meet won't be your spouse one day. Because statistically speaking, that's a lot safer assumption to make. When you really think about it, if God's called you to marriage, He's called you to be with one person. Or maybe if something happens, you get a biblical divorce, or your spouse dies. I get it. Like, there's other biblical reasons to have been married to more than one person, but you get what I'm saying. In statistically speaking, God has one person for you. And so how many interactions do you have with single Christians that could be eligible for marriage with you? 500, 1,000, 5,000, I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is that it's a way more logical assumption for when you meet someone new to think this person isn't the one God has for me, because again, statistically there's only one. So when you treat everyone the same and you think to yourself, this isn't the person God has for me, or it's probably not. If you're struggling with that idea of like, is it the one, you should say probably not. It's probably not the one, because literally it's probably not. Like statistically, odds, numbers, it's just probably not. But that can help you, because then you'll just act naturally. Then you'll just say, probably not, but like in the other points, we're going to serve this person. We're going to love this person. We're going to treat them like another valuable human being. And then you're actually creating the atmosphere where normal relationships can flourish. So when you do finally meet the one and you do finally have that interaction with your future spouse, you'll be pleasantly surprised. You'll say, wow, I didn't think that you were the one. God's revealed that you are the one. And because you had that safe assumption in the beginning, you were able to act natural and things progressed. So this last point is a little bit lighthearted on my end, but you might want to give it a try. You have to replace your thoughts with something, and that might help you to just start assuming this isn't the one. If you want to keep learning about this topic, I'm going to leave a playlist right here. And here's all of my videos where I talk about the one. How will God tell you who to marry? So go ahead and click right there if that's something that's interesting to you. Well, I'm Mark from ApplyGodsWord.com. Thanks for watching, and God bless.